That was cute.
I'm not bitter. No.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of 90s Crime Talk with Stef. I am your host, Stef, and I'm here with my hilarious and not bitter bestie and co-host,
Hi.
Neen. Hey
Hi,
Neen, how
Steph.
you doing
Yes, I
today?
am not a bitter Betty at all.
So basically, I asked Neen if I had anything in my teeth, and she of course said
Mhm.
no, which I have to now check if that's true because you might be getting back at me for when we were in high school. No, I think it was 99 actually, or 2000, I don't know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
okay, so we were hanging out at Stonestown. We had just eaten salad. You know where this is going. And then I see my crush and I'm like, oh my God, do I have anything in my teeth? And then she's like,
Mhm.
of course, the best friend ever. She goes, no, do I? And I didn't even look at her. And I was like, you're
Mhm.
fine, you're fine. And I like go over to see the guy. Long story short, Neen, take it away. What happened?
I go, so basically after, I'm like this, do you have anything in my teeth? Because you did that first. You were like, do you have anything in my teeth? And I'm like, no, you're good. And then I'm like, how about me? And then you're like, ah, and then you like left. So then 5 hours later, I go to the bathroom. I'm on a break, okay, because I'm at work. Go upstairs and I go to look in the mirror while I'm washing my hands, and I'm like, smile, and I'm like, there's a big ass piece of lettuce on my tooth. That was
Oh my,
like 3 or 2 hours prior.
oh my God. Like
Yeah.
seriously?
And I hadn't eaten anything since then. So it was there, hanging out, chilling,
Oh,
waving,
you were taking
greeting the
orders.
customers before me.
Oh my God, I'm dead. I'm sorry. I will. And you know
That's
what?
okay.
Karma got me because actually last week, the same thing happened to me. And I'm
Mhm.
smiling away, la, 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 and Angel's like, oh, you have something. And I was like, that was from fucking 6 hours ago. Like, thanks. I've been smiling and chit-chatting away. But yeah,
So
so
I have a question. Do you get like annoyed or like irritated when people ask you like, okay, so like if you're like totally oblivious, right? And someone's like, "Oh, you have something in your tooth." Like, I'm not mad at them, but I'm irritated that you found it. Like, does it irritate you at all?
it does. It
Hmm.
embarrasses me. And then I'll
Right.
just be like, well, maybe I'm just saving it for a snack later. Like, try to play it off.
Exactly. You feel a little salty, like you're like, "Ugh,
Yeah, but it's
whatever."
like, well, you have a booger hanging out in your nose. How do you like
Yes.
that?
Like that's such an awkward one. Like having like
Oh
something
my
in your tooth is a little
God.
different, but I feel
Yeah.
like when you have a booger in your nose,
That word makes me laugh.
like honestly, in a way I wish you would just leave it there.
Yeah. Just like
Like,
you see it, and then when I get home, I see it, and then
mhm.
I'm embarrassed, but at least no one's talked about it. So we can just
Yes.
put it behind us.
Exactly, because I'm just like, hello, don't embarrass me. Because then what if I don't have a tissue?
Yeah.
Then what am I, I can't pick my nose.
Or
I
I
mean, I
can't
guess I
like
can
wipe
excuse
it.
myself. Yeah, exactly. And then you're like, oh, did I get it? That's so gross.
But it's so like that
You're
is
so
not,
awkward.
yeah, just people just mind your business. Unless
Yes.
like if it's you, I don't mind, or if it's
Yeah.
like Angel, but like my coworker, leave it there.
Yeah.
Like just leave
Exactly.
it
Like
alone.
strangers or like
Yeah.
people that like you're at dinner with, but you don't really know.
Yeah.
Like, don't. Just don't. Or, um, I never understood like when someone has like I was with a coworker one time and this guy had like bleeding gums.
Ooh,
And someone straight was like, your gums are bleeding. I
rude.
was like, oh my God, that is so embarrassing. Like, it's horrible. Who does that? Or like if someone has jacked up teeth, don't point that out to people. They are fully aware that they have jacked up teeth every morning.
Who's pointing this out to people? Like,
When I
get out of
worked
my
at the
life.
Yeah, when I worked at the court, it happened a couple times where people had like there was a lady, my ex-boss actually had she was going through menopause, and I guess obviously we all know through
Oh,
menopause you could have like bone loss. So
yeah.
her teeth were literally like falling out while she was talking. It's not funny, but it's
Oh my God.
like, and
New
the thing
fear
was,
unlocked.
She looked like Nanny McPhee
Oh
because her
my.
tooth was like a hook. Like it was like not even, it was like sticking straight out, right? And I didn't know what was going on. But then once I got to know her and she became my boss, she had told us all the story about how she had bone loss and she ended up having to get all her teeth pulled because the majority of them were just like falling out. And she was like in a meeting and it fell out.
So then she
And
had all her teeth pulled.
because they would have ended up falling out anyway. They were coming out like freaking apples on a tree.
Oh my God, I'm terrified. What if that happens to me? I'm scared.
I'm sure you won't. But the whole point to my story, though, is that someone, when she had that tooth that was, they were like, "What's wrong with your tooth? Why is it like that?" And I was like, I felt so bad. And I was like, who does that? I was like,
Uneducated ass people.
exactly. And I was like, I'm sorry, but you know what? Dental care is very expensive.
Yeah.
And some people can't afford it.
I have to ask, did she get like a veneers or whatever? Like, did
She
she
got
get
dentures.
okay? Okay. Oh my
Yeah,
God, I'm
and I mean, she looked
scared.
amazing after. I mean, I would honestly, they did such a great job. I would have never known those were dentures if I hadn't seen her teeth prior.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But she
Okay.
literally said it fell on the table at the meeting and was like, and it was her tooth.
Oh God, please don't let
Yeah.
that happen to us for laughing. Oh
Yeah,
my
for
God.
real. Yeah.
Oh, poor. Oh, that makes me sad.
hmm
Okay.
Anyways, how are you, Steph?
Well, worried about my teeth.
Okay.
I'm doing good. I twisted my damn knee whilst teaching my Zumba class tonight, and it wasn't
Uh,
that I just was in my own world. You know, when you just
oh,
get lost in the
oh
music. I'm like,
yeah.
"Ugh."
You just
I
feeling
turned,
it?
yeah, I turned left, my knee turned right. I was like, Puta. I mean, it should be fine. I'm just icing it, but
Mm,
I'm fine. You know, I'm still relaxed from vacation and
good. You
just
look
waiting.
rather relaxed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's this Waterloo I'm sipping on right now that you
Yes.
got me hooked on. And this is not
Okay,
sponsored,
Waterloo.
but please sponsor us.
Yes, please do because Waterloo freaking
Oh
rocks.
my God. Like
Yeah.
LaCroix who?
Okay, because I'm not a ginger fan, but
Oh,
that,
yeah.
hello.
It's so refreshing. So like
Very.
I'm totally like back in Cancun right now. So
Oh, I love it.
how are you? How's the baby? And
She's
by baby,
good.
she's not a baby. She's the most mature, but oh, I love
She's
her.
doing good.
She starts school
Yeah.
soon.
And no, not till September, the like after Labor Day.
You know what? I'm
So,
confusing that because we did talk about how that's the appropriate, like she's actually
mhm,
starting at the correct time. I saw a TikTok, various TikToks today of moms getting their kids ready
mhm.
for their first day of school. And I'm like, again, like
Yeah,
we've already mentioned this, but what? It's still summer. Like simmer
it
down
is. And
educational system.
it's unfortunate. Like I feel like a lot of the schools, especially like in our area, and it's probably all over the country because I know I follow people and their kids went to school this week. I mean, teachers have a lot of days off and like meetings or things that they have to do during the year. And we never had, what is it called? Snow week or
Yeah.
something?
Ski week.
That's
Yeah.
it. They have that now. And I'm like, what the freak?
I
Presley
know.
doesn't have that, but so that they really don't get many days off. They don't even get a lot of half days. So they're pretty much the only like the holidays we would get at work are the ones they get. So literally her school year is from what is it? September to May, end of May. So she has a full
Perfect.
summer.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally confusing it then with all these moms I saw this week. I was like, damn.
Right. I know. She's
Oh,
excited though. But yeah, she's doing good. We're doing good. I'm just I don't know. I'm just I don't know. I've just been sad. Yeah, I'm sorry.
sorry.
No, I've just been sad about the fires in Hawaii.
Yeah. I
I'm really
can you believe that
devastated.
we were gonna go around this time?
I know. It's just like literally I don't think, and I know like this isn't like the first like catastrophic
Yeah.
thing that our country's gone through, but I guess like in order to understand or be able to like associate with things like that or just it's just for you have to have some sort of connection in a lot
Uh-huh.
of ways and um Yeah, and I've been going there since I was younger, and down that street, like so many times, like with so many pictures. I was looking up my pictures last night there, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like these are pictures that will never be taken the same way again. Like, who even knows how, like, to think like a whole town is just gone. And it's just so like literally I've never cried over something like this. Like, it's just so sad on so many levels. I just can't even fathom like what people are going through. And it literally is like when you go from one side of the island to the other where like tourists are, the middle point is kind of like Lahaina,
Is that
where
where the tree is? That
yeah,
tree?
exactly. And it's just for me, I just feel like and I posted something on Instagram. I just wish, and nothing against Oprah, but I think I
Oh,
told you this. She has such
yeah.
a huge portion of land. She has over 1,000 acres in Hawaii. And this is land that literally she, in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of other people, she didn't really have to have. Like, that's a lot of acreage. You have her, you have Jeff Bezos, you have Larry Ellison, that is the owner of Oracle, and he owns 98% of Lanai, the other island across the way from Maui. And literally, once he took over that island, he literally was pushing the residents out. And it's just mind blowing to me. And I just feel like if these people love these islands so much to where they feel that they are important enough to live there, then you need to show up and give back to these people, because
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
just like, I'm sorry, put your money where your mouth is. Don't just be showing up for pictures, being like, oh, I'm here. Do things, because people like us, like, I'm over here trying to figure out how I can contribute in some way. I even told my mom, can I go to like the Red Cross? I was telling Tony, I'm gonna just like figure out how I can go there. Like, I have 2 weeks off. Like, if I could, I would go,
Hmm.
but I know the last thing they need right now are visitors, right? Um, but it's just like, if people like us can donate, and finding $5, $10 here and there, these people can do a lot more,
Yeah, I
you know
agree.
and it's just, it sickens me. And I just hope that, um I don't even know, like, honestly, I don't even know. There's no words. I don't even know how, and that's what I was telling Brandy, because she was just there like 3
Hmm.
weeks ago, that it's just like these people just got over the pandemic, and that particular town, they struggled with shops closing and like how we did. But I mean, tourism is that's their livelihood. Like, that's, everybody works in these places, and this is how they get food on their tables. And now it's just, I think once now tourism was at its height, and now it's just
Oh,
all just taken away in like a blink of an eye. So, and it's crazy. And I'm just gonna say this right here. My friend Cambry, my friend Bree from beauty school, her daughter's there. And she posted something that her daughter finally got a flight out on Saturday. And the tickets are astronomical. Average, during summer, I would say $700 for a flight if you book it later. The tickets to get home from Maui to San Francisco is $1,200. They jacked up the effing prices. That's freaking, it's just,
that's
you don't do
disgusting.
that. You don't do
They're
that.
profiting off of
Yes. And I hope,
tragedy.
yeah, United. I'm
Ugh.
that's just wrong. You don't do that. In fact, they put more planes over there to get people out. They should be just giving these away they should be giving it for free. I'm just like,
I
sorry to go on a
agree.
tangent, but it's really unfortunate, and it's sad. And I don't know. I'm just like, it's really depressing. It really
Yeah.
is. But
Yeah. The images and everything that I've seen and just and reading about it, it's awful. And I don't
yeah,
know.
I
But
know.
thanks for sharing about donating, because I would want to donate to like the appropriate channels and not like
Exactly.
things that funnel money to the rich.
Mhm.
So
Exactly, and that's the thing that I always get hesitant to do during times like this because you really don't know where your money's going,
Hmm.
you know. And for me, I want to connect with, we have a few people that we know there, and I want to see if I could just like make some sort of care package or something that we could send over. And I don't know, I need to do something. Like it's just so heartbreaking, and it's just I just all we could do is pray and hope that, I don't know. I don't even know. Prayer's good, but what do you say
Action.
during times like this, you know?
Exactly. People are like, we don't need your thoughts and prayers. We need your help.
Right. Exactly. I mean,
Just like when Notre Dame, burned
yeah, I
just
was
a couple
thinking
years
about that the
ago.
other day. I was just like, when you see these historical places, I mean, it's insane, like the amount of history that was in this town, and like people are like, "Oh, I hope the banyan tree's still there,"
Yeah,
which
everyone's
is
yeah.
important, right? But not important, but it's just like if it does, they say it's got scorched, but if it does survive, that would be a miracle. And it would be so beautiful in a way,
Yeah.
right? For years to come, because it's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
But, above all, just I mean, I don't even think we've scratched the surface on the amount of people that have, passed away and stuff. So just, I hope it doesn't grow, but, you know, I mean, they're just now getting the fire out. So, and it's not just there. And I guess that's one of the things too that I want to mention is that just hearing from people that we've talked to. We talked to one girl last night that we know, and like she said that there's fires all over the place in Maui. And it's not just there. And what the media is pushing out is nothing compared to what's really going on. And that's the sad and scary part. And I don't understand why this isn't something that we are really like putting out there, like the honest to God truth. Like,
Mm.
tell us what's going on, So, anyways, that's it. I just, yeah.
Keep us posted. Because
Yes, I will for sure. But I'm excited for crime talk.
oh, crime
Okay.
talk.
Although, crime talk, you sent me a message earlier about this chick earlier.
Mm.
What is her name? Tay?
Lil Tay
Lil Tay. Okay, Lil. I forgot. I
from Canada.
Yeah, and look it up, people, because when Steph told, it was
Mm.
funny. I don't know, maybe my phone heard me say it, but it popped up on my Safari when I opened my phone,
Because it's
and
everywhere. Oh my
yeah, and
God.
then it popped up on Instagram saying she was alive, and I sent that. I was like, oh, I see her. It's crazy the things people do now for just
Just to be
likes.
relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and
It's
it's disgusting.
disgusting.
It is. And yeah. And it stems from their parents too, because their
Uh-huh.
parents are just as freaking greedy,
I
you know.
hope that they're held accountable and that they have
Mm-hmm.
to pay fines because that little
Yeah.
punk, okay, like I saw some videos that she posted. She's disgusting. Like
Mm.
I would ship her off to some boarding school if that were
Oh,
my kid.
absolutely. Yeah, for real. Yeah. And I mean, people like that, it's just they don't know the value of anything in life at all.
It's
To make up a lie like that.
yeah, and it's like she reminds me of Bad Barbie, the
Mm-hmm.
little girl from Dr. Phil, like Cash Me
Mm-hmm.
Outside. How
Oh
about that?
yeah.
Remember
How
that
about
girl?
that?
Yeah, she's hella famous
Is that her
because
name?
Bad Barbie. That's her stage name. But it's like all these little heathens.
Yeah, she girlfriend has like bought a house,
Yeah.
cars, has a record deal.
So does this little twerp, this
See,
14-year-old.
and why do we, and I guess that's the thing with society nowadays, is that why do we
Glorify
like,
it.
yeah, glorify behavior like this?
I wish I knew. I
Yeah,
wish I knew.
because if I even saw Presley like liking people like that, oh no.
Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scared too if I ever just thinking about it.
Oh my
Cause
God.
who does that? Like, that's not cute.
No, absolutely not. I'm not even a parent, and that shit just makes my blood boil.
Yeah. So, watch your kids.
Watch your kids and watch who they're watching. Okay.
Yes, I
Please and
agree.
thank you.
Yeah. See, then that's what I had told you. I feel like that's the fine line when it comes to like social media and having boundaries and guidelines.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yes, you have a lot of young kids though that are famous because of how they are. Like, look at that kid, Ryan,
Hmm.
that, with sharing his toys and then his house and his parents are all involved. But in reality, this isn't real life.
Hmm.
Like I always tell Presley, like when she looks at these shows of kids, I'm like, just to let you know, that's not how real life is. Like parents don't have time to like purchase this big slime thing and or these big contraptions that you could like play in. Like that's not reality.
Hmm.
You know, we don't have that kind of money, nor do we have the time, right?
Exactly.
But for her, she's like, "Oh my gosh, can we do this?" And it's
Yeah.
just like, ugh. And they're acting so phony.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, ugh. But anyways, I just had to mention that because I just think it's so stupid, and it's just like, ugh. I don't know. Anyways, I'm excited for Crime Talk, and I can't wait to see what you have in store.
Thank you so much, Nina. I'm excited for Crime Talk too. I love talking all things crime with you and with our
Yeah.
listeners. But before we dive in today, I wanted to share a little bit of trivia that I came across. And I want to know if
Ooh.
you have heard of this. So, you know the brand Nike, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who doesn't? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and their popular like motto or slogan, right?
Just do it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So, do you know the origin, like where that came from?
Ooh. No, just do it. Mm-mm. Am I
I
gonna be
just,
disturbed?
yes, it was inspired by the final words of a convicted serial killer by the name of Gary Gilmore, right before he was killed, like died by whatever, like I think lethal
Lethal?
injection. Yeah.
Oh hell no. How is that even okay?
Yeah. And then technically he said, let's do it. But the CEO or whoever was in charge of like marketing for Nike heard about it and was so fascinated. He's like, you know what? Let's change let's to just. I think it's so cool. And like, that's how it came to be. And so I was like, what?
Oh
I needed
hell
to
no.
share
That
this
is
with you all.
insane.
I was like, oh my God.
Wow. I mean, makes me wonder.
Like where a lot of like inspiration
Yeah,
comes from. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I know you could just hear things and you're just like, oh, but that's very morbid.
It is. And I apologize on behalf of my dogs right now because they're just barking for no apparent reason. Maybe they're
Oh,
disturbed by the origin of
mm-hmm.
Just Do It. But can you
Exactly.
hear
But it's okay
them?
because I can't even hear them.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you're good.
Anyways, so let's get cozy and comfortable
Okay.
and down to business. Okay. So tonight I
Okay.
wanted to discuss a case that hails from Clinton, Indiana.
Huh.
And that is the case of Orville Lynn Majors, a medical professional who was convicted of murdering patients that were under his care.
Mm.
Right? Oh my God.
Wow.
That
I
right
love stuff
there.
like this.
I know, but that right there is why I'm terrified of freaking hospitals. You are helpless. You're having to rely on another individual or team of individuals to keep you alive. Hell no. I will be with my eyes open, my finger on the little button, like, or my cell phone. Like, okay, especially after researching this case. So, huge trigger warnings for
Hmm.
murder, death, medical malpractice, patient harm, patient vulnerability, like majorly, okay?
Wow.
So, listener discretion is strongly advised. So, let's get to know about Orville here. And I really want to call him Orville Redenbacher,
Yeah, for real. Is it
but
spelled Oro? Or
Oh no, it's
V? Oh,
Orville.
okay. So it is Orville.
Orville. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
not Oroville. That's always weird. Like that's an interesting name.
I know it's
Orville.
Orville.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very like from the times.
Yeah.
So yeah, so because he was born in Hello in 1961. So Orville Lynn Majors was born on April 24th, 1961 in Linton, Indiana, not to be confused with Clinton, Indiana.
Oh, I
To
thought you said Clinton.
So this case comes from Clinton, but he was born in Linton.
Okay.
His
All right.
parents were Orville Majors Sr. and Anna Majors, and he also had a sister named Debbie. Orville was described by friends and family as being very likable, funny, and just an all around great guy. I could not find very much else on his early life, but did learn that he developed a passion for nursing after he spent a significant amount of time caring for his elderly grandmother as a teenager, which is ironic given who his victims would later come to be. Dun, dun,
Oh
dun.
no.
Yeah. But, anyways, he decided to pursue nursing as his career, and he went to Nashville Memorial School of Practical Nursing and graduated in 1989. After graduation, he got a job as a nurse at Vermilion County Hospital in Clinton, Indiana. He did end up leaving for a higher paying job in Tennessee in 91 for just a brief little stint, but ended up returning back to Vermilion in 1993. Interesting side note, I also read that he owned a pet shop in Linton, not to be mistaken for Clinton, whilst working as a nurse. I
Do you
know,
see my eyes? Uh-huh.
His customers refer to him as Lynn and would later share in various interviews that Lynn was a funny guy with lots of compassion. One patron shared how one day a fish jumped out of an aquarium in the store and Orville picked it up, brought the fish up to his mouth, and gave it mouth to mouth resuscitation.
Dang.
Miraculously, the fish lived. I had to put that in there. Anywho, during his first
Oh
phase
my
at
God. Wait, hold on. How did it not blow its lungs out?
he must have been like super gentle. I mean, this
Yeah.
guy was supposedly like super amazing, really sweet, caring, funny. Like it didn't surprise whoever was there that he did that. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So during his first phase at Vermilion County Hospital, Orville excelled in his nursing career and he received stellar work reviews regularly and was actually the most popular nurse on staff, especially among the elderly patients. He was very beloved. However, this would soon change shortly after his return in 93 when the hospital staff started noticing the death toll climbing at a rapid speed, primarily in the older patients. At first, no one really suspected anything weird. I mean, the victims were all elderly, so everyone just assumed that they were dying from natural causes. But this hospital, which was a 56-bed facility, mind you, at most had an average of about 26 deaths, at least prior to Orville rejoining the staff. After he returned in 93, the death rate shot up from 26 deaths to 100 deaths a year. So this would factor out to be 1 in 3 patients admitted to the hospital that would end up dying. Most of these people passed from respiratory arrest, followed by an erratic heartbeat, and others died from conditions they did not have before they were admitted into the hospital. Essentially, they were otherwise healthy, and others simply just began coding. So, like, it was like chaos.
Dang.
Okay. So,
They were
yeah,
dropping like flies.
literally.
Yeah.
So, how did peeps start to suspect Orville or look at him all side eye, you ask? Well, apparently his coworkers started realizing that the deaths primarily took place when he was on duty. Orville played it off and just chalked it up to, and I quote, bad luck.
Hmm.
But this
Sure.
did not stop the whispers and conspiracy theories. His coworkers even nicknamed him the Angel of Death and would straight up take bets on which patient would end up dying during Orville's next shift at the hospital. Yeah, they're going to hell too.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Dang.
Another reason that people started to suspect Orville was his behavior. When he returned to the hospital in 93, he wasn't the same happy-go-lucky guy he was when he first began working there. He was irritable and would get offended at the littlest things. It was like night and day. like for them. They were like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. Eventually in 1995, Orville's supervisor, Don Stirek, was like, what the fuck is going on? Let me at least verify who was on duty when these deaths would take place. And during her review of the time cards, Dawn realized that Orville was on duty for a whopping 130 deaths out of a total of 147 between the years 1993 through 1995. So she was like, oh, hell no, and alerted hospital officials who got the Indiana State Police involved. Orville was suspended at this point while the police and hospital officials conducted their investigations. Okay, I'm going to need you guys to hold on to your butts because this is going to get nuts.
Mm.
Sorry, I had to get poetic right there. So,
that was great.
I was proud. During the investigations and extremely thorough reviews of medical records, it was brought to light that Orville had been administering emergency drugs to patients and also working in the ICU without a doctor. So he was actually fired while he was on suspension and had his nursing license revoked. Like they snatched that bitch. Upon further investigation, it was determined that a death occurred every 23 hours when Orville was working. And when he wasn't at work, the rate dropped down to one death every 551 hours, which translates to 22 days. So
Okay.
either he
Wow.
was like out or whatever.
Mhm.
There was another time where the death toll went back to normal. And it turns out this was a week that Orville had also taken off for vacation. Based on all of this, it was concluded that a patient at this facility was 42 times more likely to die when Orville was on the clock.
Oh my
Your
gosh.
chapstick. That was perfect. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh my
So,
gosh. 42 times more?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, Orville.
His name. So he did not go and hide under a huge rock during all of this. No, siree. This man vehemently, I like that word, so I wanted to use it, vehemently denied all of the allegations against him and hired an attorney to help him prove his innocence. He also went on several talk shows, including the iconic Montel Williams and Phil
Okay.
Donahue,
Dang.
in an attempt to clear his name. Whilst he was doing this, the police, as well as the prosecutors, had a bit of an uphill battle in order to prove that Orville was responsible for all of these deaths. They knew he did it. They knew it, but they didn't really have concrete evidence at this point. But after Orville started his little world tour of, I didn't do it, the police started getting calls from several of the relatives of patients that had died at the hospital while Orville was there. They all stated that Orville had been acting weird and that their relative would either code or die within minutes of Orville giving them injections. Several of these callers also reported that their loved one would die before Orville even had the chance to leave the room. Literally, like seconds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So now the police, as well as the State Department of Health, were getting somewhere with these horrifying yet very helpful calls from these poor families. So they continued their review and noticed something very odd with regard to the patient's EKGs, which, as you know, shows the heart pattern. Apparently, a lot of the patient's heart patterns would widen around the time that Orville was on duty. The police, they're not medical experts, so they called in the big guns, or rather an electrophysiologist, a Dr. Eric N. Pristowski, to take a closer look at the EKGs. Dr. Pristowski suspected that there were only three explanations for these patterns: a potassium overdose, a sudden heart attack, or a large clot in the lung. Three. Those are the three things that could have happened, okay? Armed with this information, sometime in September 1995, state officials took action and began to exhume the bodies of 15 patients who had been witnessed getting injections and had widening heart patterns close to the time that they had passed. And they found out that none of the bodies had signs of a heart attack or clotting in the lung, which proved that they had in fact been murdered. Yeah. And I guess it took quite some time to review everything in order to build up a strong case against Orville, because it wasn't until December 29th, 1997, so 2 years later, that he was finally taken into custody and charged with murdering 7 people by injecting them with drugs that caused their hearts to stop. Even though he was only charged with 7 murders, investigators believed that he was responsible for 130 murders. But they thought that number might overwhelm the jury, so they just kept it to 7. I mean, if they won their case, he was going to go down. Like, he was never going to get out. So his trial actually did not start until 1999, so 2 years after the fact that he had been formally charged. He was detained the whole time and held without bail. And even though the evidence was overwhelming and he was literally in jail, he still had a shit ton of people rallying around him who refused to believe that he could be capable of such heinous crimes, including his parents, who suffered so much during all of this. I couldn't find much, but I did read that they went bankrupt trying to support him while in jail, his court case. And apparently he had developed some medical issues while he was detained, and he was needing to take medicine regularly for his blood pressure and for his heart. And
interesting.
Yeah, his mom, Anna, had to start taking medication to calm her nerves, and she saw a therapist regularly. And his father, Orville Sr., had fallen ill. I'm not sure with what. They just said that he had fallen ill. And then his sister Debbie had 2 nervous breakdowns. Basically, they could not believe that their son and brother would do something so evil, because it wasn't the Orville that they knew. And I couldn't find literally anything about his childhood, but like reading how they rallied around him. And, we always talk about how there's like traumatic childhoods or like abuse or whatever, and then it kind of like shows you, oh, that's probably why they went that route. I can't find that here and anywhere. Like, it's like, what made him turn? And he took care of his grandma, and like that's what made him want to like pursue this career, and he excelled at first. So like, what happened? So
yeah, for real.
But yeah, so his family like rallied, and they were like, oh my God, we just are going to wait for him to be proven innocent. Like he didn't do this. We're not going to rest till he's set free. So,
wow.
And as I mentioned, the evidence against him was alarming, and the prosecution had hella witnesses in this case, 79 to be exact, 23 of which were doctors. One witness was his former roommate, who testified seeing potassium chloride vials in their house, which he had reported to police during the investigation. The police had gotten a search warrant to search Orville's home and car, and they sure did discover a number of these vials that were ultimately traced back to the hospital. So he was like stealing shit from the hospital, and he had it on his person. Yeah. Another acquaintance of Orville testified that yeah, but like this is even dumber. So another like friend testified that Orville had started shooting up meth. Not clear on if this was on his personal time or during work hours, but he had a problem, and he would carry syringes with him at all times. Yeah. A handful of witnesses testified that Orville actually hated the elderly, that he made statements to them about his hatred, and that he believed that they should all be gassed to death. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, who could hate elderly?
Exactly. Like, that was hard for me to even like, ugh. Yeah, it was just absolutely disgusting. Another witness was Russell Firestone Jr., who shared that he saw Orville inject his 73-year-old father with an unknown substance. He tried asking, "What is that?" But Orville immediately left the room. Seconds later, he returned and informed Russell his father was dead.
Oh my God.
Like, excuse me?
Wow.
And yeah,
and he didn't bring that up to anybody? Like, what did he inject in my father? Or what's going on?
Apparently, because like, I guess like he prayed, because, I mean, I know I would. I know you would. I would raise hell. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But like you also trust the medical professionals too. Like,
Yeah.
when my mom was in the hospital last year, and like you see like she's hooked up to like, IVs and stuff. Like that's the perfect opportunity for anyone to like stick a syringe in an IV.
Mm-hmm.
God, I watch too much SVU, but you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
you just
Yeah.
don't know. Like you just
Yeah.
trust that they're putting medicine or something that your
Mm-hmm.
person needs.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
that's why I think he got away with it for so long, but then the
Wow.
patterns were like, okay, it's like 100 people have died in like a year.
Yeah,
It was
that's
weird.
astounding.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Hmm.
after a 5 week long trial, 5 whole weeks, that's it. Orville
Wow.
was found guilty AF and convicted on 6 counts of murder. Unfortunately, the jury deadlocked on the seventh victim because he had taken longer to die than the others. Yeah. So, but that's okay. They still got him on 6, and
Hmm.
he was sentenced to 6 consecutive terms of 60 years, the maximum possible
Shoot.
penalty under Indiana law at the time. Translation: this fool was literally going to rot and die in prison.
Wow.
Judge Yelton went on record to describe Orville's crimes as diabolical acts and concluded that, and I quote, the maximum sentence is the minimum sentence in this case. I definitely agree.
Wow.
I bet you're wondering, what happened to the hospital?
Hmm.
Did the relatives end up burning it down? Because
Right.
Lord knows my ass would have. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been right there next to Orville in jail.
That's for sure.
But no, no one set fire to the hospital, which changed its name to West Central Community Hospital
Hmm.
after Orville was fired. Instead, 80 families filed wrongful death suits, and rightfully so. That's right, Neen. 80 families.
Wow.
Most
How
of the
are they even
families,
still in business?
right? Well, most of them settled the suits and were compensated by a state patients fund. The
Wow.
hospital was also fined around 80,000 for negligence and code violations and was forced to shut down for a bit due to losing its accreditation. Eventually, in 2009, the hospital had been taken over by Union Hospital, based in Terre Haute, Indiana, and thusly renamed Union Hospital Clinton. We're back to
I'm like,
Clinton. Meanwhile, in prison, Orville maintained his innocence and ended up appealing his verdict to the Indiana Supreme Court. They swiftly said, sorry, boo, no can do. Yeah, I did a little
good.
poetic thing for you again.
I know. It's like all this, like, I don't know. It's amazing.
Thank you. I
You're a
love you.
poet and don't know it. Okay.
Yeah, so they were like, sorry. And he remained in prison where he was considered a model prisoner who stayed out of trouble and held several prison jobs.
Hmm.
On September 24th, 2017, just 18 years into his sentence at Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, Orville started having trouble breathing and then became unresponsive, all while he was arguing with correctional staff. He was pronounced dead that same day due to heart failure, which, if you ask me, is poetic justice.
Mm-hmm.
He was
I bet.
56 years old. And
Wow.
that, my little boo and listeners, is the story of Orville Lynn Majors.
Wow. Dang, I have so many questions. How do you
Yes,
feel
I do
about
too.
this? Yeah, what is your take on all this? Like, what do you think his intentions were, or do you think he did hate seniors?
It's funny because, again, I'm stuck on how he took care of his grandmother. He
Mm-hmm.
was beloved by everyone. It appears to me and to a lot of people that he was a good person. It doesn't appear that he was ever abused or anything.
Mm-hmm.
He did good in school. He excelled when he first went to this hospital. Like he was great. Everyone loved him. The patients loved him and all
Mm-hmm.
of this. Something traumatic must have happened to him in 93 because that's when this all started. And
Mm-hmm.
then he would go around talking about how he hated the elderly. So could it be the drug use? Because apparently he was doing meth.
Right.
That's my only thing that I can think
Mhm.
of, you know?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, because had like had I not read that like his family was there and like supporting him and all that, I would have just blamed his family. I would have been like, well, clearly he came from like a toxic environment, but
Mhm.
it doesn't appear like that to me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, see, to me, I believe that obviously something was going on with him. Obviously. But okay, so when you talk about the his upbringing, I think that he had a rather, from what you know, since you didn't, there was nothing that mentioned that, like you said, seems like maybe he had a rather normal upbringing.
It appears, yeah.
Right. But we don't know, but that's what seems to be the case. I don't know, like maybe he was just very misunderstood. Like when you hear about things about how he, resuscitated the fish,
Right.
right? Who does that? Okay. And it could be that he has a thing with not wanting to see things or people suffering because his grandmother, right?
Yes.
He took care of her, right?
Yes.
And there's nothing worse than seeing a loved one, let alone your older grandparent. There's like there's a connection, right, that you have with your grandparents. Like, I don't know if anybody could think of an elderly grandparent that they had that maybe was sick or
Yeah.
ailing.
Just
You don't
suffering.
you don't want to see that, you
Right.
know? And maybe him, maybe like when you see a family member that suffers for a long time and they have a sickness that has been drawn out, I think sometimes it could do something to you to where it's just like, it's kind of like if you see a senior fall and hurt themselves,
Oh,
like you never want to see that again. So you want to try
no.
and prevent it, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and this is just me, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but I'm thinking in along the lines of like the great Dr. Kevorkian,
Exact. Uh-huh.
that he is more of trying to assist them when he knows that, okay, they have this condition and they are going to suffer, and I'm going to take them out of their misery before that even happens. And I'm going
That
to do them all a favor.
I totally hear you on that. And I also think that there's a bit of a power dynamic
Hmm.
too, because he's literally holding someone's life in his hands,
Hmm.
someone vulnerable. There's nothing that other person can do. Like
Oh,
that's it. He
completely.
decides, like,
And
you're dying right now.
I think once he started doing it, I think it's like anything, like, like they say about like serial killers and people that do these things, that they do one murder or one crime and all of a sudden
Mhm.
it becomes like an addiction.
They're
Like you get
hooked.
like an adrenaline,
Yeah.
pump off it and you're
Oh,
like, "Oh my gosh."
definitely.
So with him, it could be the fact that he wasn't caught,
Hmm.
at first, and that, okay, I can actually do this. So he just
Yeah.
kept doing it, but he got really sloppy.
Hmm.
Um I don't know. I mean, obviously, we don't know what his intentions were, but it's very possible that I think that everybody said he was nice. Like he was very, it'd be different if he was a jerk. Or
Exactly.
I just don't understand where they get the idea behind him hating old people.
I mean, he would go around saying it.
And maybe he just said that because he wanted to deter people from thinking that he was, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I mean, it just, to me, that puts a big target on your back if you're going to say that and these things are going on in the hospital, as does everybody else.
But he got cocky. He didn't think that anyone would like figure it out. Like he just
Hmm.
was like, "Oh, it's bad luck." Like,
Yeah.
like what? You think me with my like stellar review, really I'm killing like old people who have always sung my praises, Like
Mhm.
he got cocky.
Yeah. No, totally. How do you feel though, like about euthanasia?
I am like like the people that choose to do it, like they're like I'm dying. I'm gonna be suffering until I die.
Hmm.
What's the point? if it's their choice, it's kind of a struggle because it's like, you don't, I feel like you shouldn't get to pick when you die. Like your
Right.
story's written a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I tend to like kind of be okay with people. Why am I thinking of like a People magazine from like the 90s of a woman, like a woman
Mm-hmm.
who was dying of some sort of painful cancer, and she like had to
Mm-hmm.
travel to Oregon, not Oregon, but like
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, she
Remember
did.
that?
Yeah, up north because it was the
Yeah.
only place that they would do assisted
Yeah, and that's
suicide.
that's where I first, I think, became aware of it, and I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, well, why can't she choose then? She's going to just be living out the remainder of her days in agony 24/7,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of where I stand. I kind of am like, if they choose and if there's really nothing that
Mm-hmm.
can be done. So,
Right.
yeah, how about
Yeah.
you?
No, I'm along the same lines. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with it.
Yeah.
I think that it's up to each its own, and I think it's something that you should, if someone has a valid reason why,
Yeah.
I don't think that you should prevent people to do that if they're not happy here and they're suffering and they know that what's ahead of them is going to be torture for them as well as their family. Um, some of these diseases are horrible to see,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't want that to be the vision or the last memories that your family has of you with them, you
Right. And
know?
that's why they call it dying with dignity.
Mhm.
That's all they want. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I
Yeah, I
mhm.
mean, I can't, I think Dr. Kevorkian was amazing. Like, I think that his intentions were pure. I don't think it had anything to do with being, trying to kill people. But this guy,
Mm,
I don't know. I mean, it could go either way.
yeah.
Um, but because his demeanor, mannerism leading up to this stuff really didn't fit the mold of what we think it would be.
Right. Yeah, I know.
So it leaves you saying, I mean, I wonder if there was it doesn't say anything about like if there was patterns in these cases like that he would help or that he would do these injections on.
Not that I could the only pattern was they were all in the same age group. He didn't
Yeah.
deviate from the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what's that? So
Yeah.
it kind of like makes sense to what you're saying about the whole, maybe he is trying to, you know, alleviate them from their pain, but I struggle with, settling on that.
Yeah.
It'd be easy to settle on that, but where I struggle is like a lot of the people that went in to the hospital, they went in for like routine stuff. They were
Right.
otherwise healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they didn't have there was no
Exactly.
suffering, no
Right.
broken hip, they were just
Mhm.
old. So
Yeah.
that's where I
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
the
like,
part that's
yeah,
sketch
yeah,
because it'd be different if they had like terminal cancer and couldn't move because it went into their bones or something.
yeah,
That would be different. And then I could see,
exactly.
oh, okay. But maybe he did get a rise of seeing, being, like you said, having that control to be able to
Just
see,
power.
yeah, know that he could take someone's life like that and
Yeah.
quickly. I
Like
mean, dang,
he's
so
standing over
quick.
them and he's like,
Yeah.
right now you're alive,
Mm-hmm.
but in the next blink, until when I decide right now, like you're gonna be gone because I said
Dang.
so. Like it's,
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I have never heard of him at all.
me either.
But that is actually pretty riveting. And the thing is that people, I mean, he got away with it with the amount of people that he killed.
Yeah, his coworkers are taking bets. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder who's
pretty,
gonna die.
that's pretty rotten. Don't do that. I'm just like, I mean, we all would do it. We all, you all make those jokes, right? But there
Yeah.
had to be other things too, obviously, that, you get a feeling
Yeah, of course.
about people, not just like certain characteristics or things that
Exactly.
he's done or presented to make it more obvious. But wow, no, thanks, Steph. I appreciate this one. This one was interesting. I really liked it. No, for
Thank you,
real.
Dean. I really love
And
our banter after too.
yes, exactly. Always. Because now I'm going to go read up more on this because it's weird.
Yeah, and it further like makes me
I just want to see what he
side-eye.
looks like.
Oh,
And
you will. He looks, yeah, he doesn't look cute and cuddly. He looks creepy and sweaty. He looks like a
see,
criminal.
wow. But you know what? That could have also been his MO, was to be a certain way to cover up the fact that he could actually do something like this.
Ooh,
You
yeah.
know, like they say, never judge a book by its cover. It's always the quiet
Okay.
ones,
Hmm.
you know? So you never know. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, you're so
Oh
cute.
my gosh, that was very, very riveting. Thank you so much.
Women.
I
Thank
appreciate that.
you, Neen. I
Oh,
just wanted to
fantastic.
do a little different one tonight.
No,
And
I liked it. I
yeah.
liked it because that was very different. It was different than like a serial killer. I mean, what could you call him, a serial killer?
I mean, if a serial killer, well, the
'Cause-
numbers
Yeah, I was gonna say it's.
more than three is
Hmm.
serial killer territory. And but this all took place in the same spot, which but I still think he falls under the umbrella for sure.
All I gotta say is bravo to Indiana and their court system and how they gave the freaking maximum amount of time, and it was like no mercy on him.
Hmm.
Because we've seen too many times in all these
Uh-huh.
stories how people that have done, I don't want to say worse, but more gruesome, at least it was peaceful for these people somewhat.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
um, like these some people just got like nothing, like a slap on the wrist compared
Hmm.
to this guy,
Yeah.
and quite frankly, he really didn't have to suffer that much because he croaked.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. In the same kind of way that his victims did. So I think
yeah,
that was eerie.
see, karma.
Karma is real.
All right. Like Boy George said, it's karma, karma, karma. Is it karma or comma?
Karma. Karma chameleon.
Chameleon. Okay, the way I said that was not the way Boy George did. Okay, gosh. Real quick though, I wanted to ask you. So sad about Sandra Bullock.
Oh God.
Isn't that
Oh, can
awful?
she get a break?
That's
Can
what I
she get
was
a
just
break?
gonna say. You just took the words right out of my mouth. That poor, poor lady.
Oh my God.
She's
Yeah,
an
that was
angel.
rough. She really is. I just want her to be happy and tranquil.
Same here. I feel like some people are put on this earth though, and they're tested so many times. She's a strong ass woman. That's all I gotta say. I
Yeah,
mean, she's gonna, things are gonna, she's gonna have an amazing rest of her life
she
because
is.
she's just been tested in so many ways. And man, that guy, he was really handsome.
He was hot. Yeah.
Yeah. I just so sad, so sad. I mean, and like that, like in that case, like what do you have? ALS? That's like a horrible
Yes,
disease to pass away from.
exactly.
And in that
So
case, I could see like, Dr. Kevorkian, not the way Orville did it, but I mean,
you saying Orville makes me laugh.
it's a very interesting
Yeah.
name, Orville. But not how he went about, but I could see in those type of instances because it's a horrible death. Like I remember my dad saying that like ALS or like it, Lou Gehrig's disease, those kinds of diseases, it's like you can't communicate, but it's like you're trapped in your body.
Hmm.
So everything is dying, but you can't communicate and you have no control, but you're fully aware of what is happening to you. And that has to be the most awful way to pass away.
Yeah.
And you know, prayers for her too, because that's awful. And I don't know. That's just really sad.
Mm.
Sorry to end it on that note.
Dun
You
dun.
know, cue the sad music. But no, this is fantastic. I loved it. I really did. I can't wait to listen to it again.
Oh, you're so cute. Thank you,
For
Neen.
real. No, great job, Steph.
Thank you, Neen. I had a blast chatting with you as
Likewise.
usual. And
Aw.
yeah, guys, thank you for listening. And if you guys have a case from the 90s that you would like to hear on the podcast, you know where to message us.
Mhm.
Go on Insta, DM us on Total 90s Podcast and let us know of any crimes you would like for us to cover. And then same goes for Fridays with Neen. If there's a topic that you want Neen, to address and chat about, like, don't be shy,
No, don't.
we don't have to
Holla.
use your names or
Mm-mm.
anything. You can use alias. We could, make it
Oh,
up, like
totally.
whatever. So just feel free. Feel free to
Mm-hmm.
message us. And
Please
that's a
do.
reminder that next week, a new episode of Fridays with Neen drops on Friday. So
Aw,
yeah,
thank you. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
And make sure to just scroll throughout all of our episodes, our past ones, if you've missed any. If you're a new listener, hello, welcome. But feel free to go back and into our archives and see what else we got in store.
Yeah, you guys have 61 episodes, including this one, to listen to. So
Yes,
have
exactly.
fun. Oh my God,
Yes.
61 eppies.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna hit
insane.
100.
Yeah, we are.
I'm
That's
gonna try to
gonna be
hit it like
huge.
before the new year.
Yes, we have to. Like,
Right?
yeah, right? I mean, how many? eh,
We would need
Yeah,
39,
here we go.
39 more
So,
episodes.
okay, and we average, so we do 2 a week.
Yeah.
How many weeks left in the year? Here,
Uh,
let's see. Hey Siri, how many weeks left in the year? So there's 31 weeks left. So that's
31,
2. We'll be able to do it, right?
I
How
think
many
so.
episodes we need?
39.
Oh, totally. Because if there's 31 times 2, that's over 60 episodes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So can't wait to bring in the new year with 100,
Oh my
even before then.
God.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe by the time we do our anniversary date.
Yeah, December,
Yeah.
mid-December. So, oh my God, I'm
Hmm.
so excited. Okay.
I know.
Yay.
But thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing.
Hmm.
And we love you. So, and of course, thank you, Neen, for being Neen.
Oh, no. Thanks, Steph, for being Steph and so informative. Man, see, good to know.
You're adorable.
Don't
And
let anybody inject anything in your family's
ever,
IV without
ever,
knowing what it is.
you are
It's
up
okay to
in
ask
there.
questions.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yes. Thank you. But until next time, catch you on the flip side, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Peace out, buddies. Woo-woo.
Wait.